avidyamāne bhāve ca kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati bhāvābhāva-vidharmā ca bhāvābhāvamavaiti kaha.
Avidyamāne bhāve ca kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā ca bhāvābhāvā-avaiti kaha. MMK chapter 5 verse 6. Where no existent thing is found, of what will there be an absence? Who then, what discriminating arbiter of thing and absence, knows thing and absence? So, following on from the previous verse, we had the fundamental statement about emptiness restated again, that there is no separate thing. Let's just repeat the line. A thing existing separately from lakshya, lakshana, however you understand those. A thing existing separately from target and aiming also is most certainly not found. So this is the fundamental teaching of the middle way. And to say that a thing exists is the eternity view. And to say that no thing exists is the view of annihilation. So those views are both false. And in the middle way, what did the Buddha teach? The answer to that question is not in doubt, because Nagarjuna has already told us, even before we get to the fundamental point of verse 1, in the dedicatory verses, pratitya samutpadam prapanchopashamam shivam. The Buddha taught dependent arising, or springing up together by going back. He taught prapanchopashamam, the cessation of prapancha, stopping spinning things into self-existence, and shivam, happiness. Each three of those elements can be understood as sitting meditation itself, when practiced with the true understanding. Maybe when practiced with untrue understanding even as well. As long as the direction is broadly the right direction. So, avidyamāne bhāve ca. Avidyamāne, again, it's the same root as navidyate in the previous verse, is not found. So the not found is, in the previous verse, na, the not, is here the prefix a. So a, vid, not found. The vidyamāne is present participle. Vidyamāna will be present participle. And this is locative of the present participle. Vidyamāne, being found. Avidyamāne, not being found. So locative, where bhāve, locative again, a thing, existing thing, existent thing. So avidyamāne bhāve, where no existent thing is found. Then cha means and, but when you have two cha, we've got a cha at the end of the first pada and a cha at the end of the third pada. bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā cha. So when you've got two cha, it sometimes expresses simultaneity of occurrence. I've understood it like that. So I've translated it as the word then, who then, where no existent thing is found, who then. So that's the two cha. Then this is the interesting second pada. Of what? Kasya, that's genitive of ka. Ka is what or who. And so kasya, of what? Will there be bhaviṣyati, third person singular, future, of bhu, to be. So, Of what? Kasya, will there be, bhaviṣyati, an absence, abhāvāvāva. So, bhava means thing or existence or existing thing, and its antonym, abhava, means non-existence or absence of a thing. So, where no existent thing is found, avidyamāne bhāve, of what? Kasya, will there be, bhaviṣyati, an absence, abhava. And kasya and abhava go together, and the aha before the ba becomes an o. So it's kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati, kasya of what, plus abhava, absence, kasyābhāva, and then the bhavaha before bhaviṣyati goes to bhāvo. So kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati, kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati. So important to get the long syllables long. So kasyābhāvo are 4 long syllables. Kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati. Of what will there be an absence? Now this, for me, is a question that has real meaning because of my ignorant pursuit of the truth of non-doing in Alexander work. See, especially Alexander work, when I first started studying MMK, I understood from studying chapter 26, avidyayam nirodayam samskaranama sambhavaha. So where ignorance has been stopped, avidyayam nirodayam, another locative absolute phrase, where ignorance, avidyayam, so avidya is ignorance, avidyayam is locative singular feminine. So where ignorance, nirodayam, locative again, locative feminine, agreeing with avidyayam, niroda, stopped. So avidyayam, nirodayam, where ignorance has been stopped, samskaranam asambhavaha. Asambhavaha, we had a couple of verses ago. There is a non-coming into being. So sambhavaha, coming into being, asambhavaha, a non-coming into being. It's nominative singular, asambhavaha, nominative singular masculine. Therefore, there is, asambhavaha, there is a non-coming into being. Takes the genitive, samskaranam, genitive plural of samskara. There's a non-coming into being of samskaras. So where ignorance has been stopped, there is a non-coming into being of samskaras. And it seemed obvious to me that samskaras primarily meant what in Alexander work are called doings. So, and Marjorie Barlow's words, if I go back to those, the wrong inner patterns are the doings. No, is the doing. The wrong inner patterns are the doing that has to be stopped. So, for me, that's what it is. That's the answer then. Those wrong inner patterns are the doing that has to be stopped. That's what it's all about. There is where Alexander technique meets Nagarjuna's teaching exactly in the same spot. It's so simple. We just have to cause everybody to understand that the truth that the Buddha taught is the stopping of doings. You know, got there, solved the problem. But you see, that was 3 or 4 years ago, and since then I've been hit on the head again and again and again by Nagarjuna saying, what you think of as non-empty things are empty of their own self-existence. So can you see where this is going? The joke's been on me because all this time I've been conceiving doings as like the enemy, like an American neocon having a war on drugs or a war on terror. You know, with our educated, problem-solving minds, we focus on what has to be destroyed and then make a hell of a mess in the process of trying to destroy it. I mean, recent explorations of what's going on in the world have caused me to see more and more that what's really been going on is America has been fighting to preserve the hegemony of the US dollar as the reserve currency, because as long as the US dollar is the world's reserve currency, the buggers can just print dollars to buy whatever they want, especially military hardware, and you know, so they can pay. Most of the stupid wars that we've had over the last 20 years have been against people who in some way, whether it's Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi or whoever, they've threatened to price oil not in dollars but in euros or in something other than dollars, and that has been a suicide note on the part of those leaders. I'm somewhat digressing here, aren't I? So, of what will there be an absence is the question. So, where no existent thing is found, of what will there be an absence? So, what he's calling into question is, if I see the ultimate truth of Zazen is to sit being free of doings, like Master Dogen said, mui. Mui means asamskrita. If you look at the introduction I wrote 25 years ago to Shobogenzo Book 1, you'll see that even at that time my mind was sort of focused in on what did Master Dogen mean by mui. Mui means asamskrita. So what does that mean? Nishijima Sensei originally translated it as natural, but that translation didn't seem to me to be literal, because mui is negative. Mu means without. So without what? True Zazen that Master Dogen was describing is without what? So you go back to the Sanskrit in order to try and understand it. What does the Sanskrit asamskrita means? Well, it means, apparently the dictionary says it means unpolished. Unpolished, so that kind of fits with natural. Uncontrived. Yeah, those adjectives. But mu means without, so without what? And so after 25 years, I kind of thought I'd found the answer. Or after 20 years, let's say. There's the answer. It means without doings. The point is just sitting means sitting without doings. But then here's the Nagarjuna's question. Okay, clever clogs then. If there's no existent thing, so there is no such thing as doing, of what will there be an absence? Oh, seems like I've been getting it wrong then. See, that's why the final verse of MK says, Sarva drishti prahanaya ya sadarmam adishayat. He who taught the Dharma, taught the true Dharma, Saddharma, adishayat, he taught. Sarva drishti, all views, prahanaya, for the abandoning, in the direction of abandoning all views. So that's what I've had to do, or that's what I'm aiming to do in these explorations. I thought I'd arrived at the conclusion that mui means without doings. So true Zazen is without doings. But now Nagarjuna's asking, you see, a question that goes directly to that falsity of opinion. Where no existent thing is found, of what will there be an absence? So there's no such thing as a doing. It's not that Marjorie was wrong to say the wrong inner patterns of the doing that has to be stopped. It was just me that was wrong, with my end-gaining mind, thinking that I finally identified the thing to be destroyed, because doings are not a thing to be destroyed any more than the aim of making compost is a thing that can be found. The wrong inner patterns that Marjorie spoke of are not found. Na vidyante. That doesn't mean we shouldn't make effort to stop them. It just means that we shouldn't make effort to stop them on the basis of a non-empty conception. You see, it's exactly the same problem as I criticised Nishijima Sensei for, because his conception of right posture, you can have right posture by doing this, that, and the other. It was a non-empty conception, as if there was such a thing as right posture. See, if you think right posture exists, that's the eternity view, and it's manifested in physical form in the dojos of Japan, where you see people sitting like this. This is, people think they're lengthening the spine when they're actually subtly shortening the spine. And so the annoying thing is, whenever I sort of demonstrate this wrong thing, I start breathing freely, because the biggest irony of them all is if you put yourself on the side of the right against the false, it's a very fixing and self-constraining thing to do. So when you actually put yourself on the side of the wrong and are making an effort to demonstrate the wrong thing, even if it's in the context of wanting to help people, you become bloody free in that. Because the rule number one, if you want to be free, is don't take sides with the righteous. So this is something, that's the second time I've really noticed that clearly in the process of doing these videos. I make an effort to sit in the wrong way, what I feel is the wrong way, and I bloody well start breathing freely, because it's the most mental thing there is. What really causes you to be free is not any kind of posture. It's your mind not to be fixed, you see. So, like, if you were a great actor, you'd be able to sort of play the Hunchback of Notre Dame and look like you're really, your spine is in a bad state. But actually, I'm breathing, you see, as I'm doing it, I'm breathing as I'm trying to demonstrate the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So you screw yourself all up, and it looks like you could hardly breathe. But if you're a good actor, actually, you're at your maximum freedom when you demonstrate, when you're playing that part. You have to be a great actor. You have to be free. And on the same theme, there's a nice story where Alexander played a kind of trick on the people on his student training course when he said, about 11 o'clock, or sometime this morning, my top student, the student who's most receptive, the pupil who's most receptive to my work, my best student, my best pupil, sorry, you would have said pupil. To a student was a trainee teacher, you would call a student, but a pupil. My best pupil is coming in this morning. So all the student teachers were keeping their eye out for perhaps, a prima ballerina or a great doyen of the stage would waltz in. So it got to about 12:30, and they hadn't noticed this top pupil coming for his or her lesson. And so somebody asked FM, what happened to your best pupil that you mentioned was coming in this morning? And FM said, well, it was Mrs. Bloggs at 11 o'clock. Didn't you see her? And of course, Mrs. Bloggs was shuffled in on a walking stick. So what FM was, that story it's been filtered through my memory. It probably didn't happen exactly like that. But the point is that what FM was showing those people was the best pupil was nothing you could see on the outside. she was free of fixity in her conceptions. Therefore, she was open to FM's work. It has that kind of meaning. Avidyamāne bhāve kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati. When no existent thing is found, of what will there be an absence? So we're talking about right posture again. In the Zazen dojos of Japan, that the eternity view is manifested by people who see in what they think to be the right posture, not with freedom, not with the freedom of someone who doesn't care if he's right or wrong, but with the feeling that this is right. See? And the irony of, see, Nishijima Sensei himself was a person who understood very well that the Buddha's teaching was beyond right and wrong. He didn't lose sleep about things being right or wrong. And ironically, when he sat in Zazen, I think he was very free, relatively free, especially in his mind. He wasn't trying to be right when he was just following Master Kodo's instruction. Actually, he was just blindly following what Master Kodo had taught him. And there's a kind of freedom in that. There's a freedom in just doing what your teacher said, without worrying if it's right or wrong. It's because my teacher said like this, I'm going to do this, and not worry if it's right or wrong. It's a very Oriental attitude, really. You know, obey the emperor and don't ask questions. But it wasn't my way. My way was the way of, beyond a certain point, you question every bloody thing the emperor's saying. You know, once you start to suspect that he's not telling the truth. So, as Marjorie said, I'm an inveterate worrier. So it's been a way of exploration that has come at quite a personal cost in terms of sleepless nights and so on. I was always worried about, I'm doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. So you can go into the Alexander work, which is all about freedom, and you can turn freedom into its opposite in another way by saying, like, this is right, Alexander's way is right, and your way is wrong, which is the path that I tended to go down. So even though the Alexander work really is about being free, starting off with the principle that being prepared to be wrong is the golden key, you can easily fall into the trap of, I'm on the side of the Alexander technique, which is right, and you are on the side of doing, which is false. It's quite ironic. So by just following your teacher's wrong instruction, you can find freedom in that. And by attaching to the true teaching of a true teacher, you can tie yourself to a stake for 10,000 years like a donkey by doing that. So what we really want is a non-attachment to a true teaching. Easier said than done. Right posture exists is the eternity view. So what's the opposite view? It's to hell with posture. I'm not interested in posture. Right posture is of no interest to me. So you get the opposite. You get what matters is being a monk. You see, it's not important how you sit. The important thing is you shave your head and wear the robe and a celibate, and you know, you make merit for lay people who feed you, and so you can just sit there. I can breathe quite easily doing this as well, strangely enough. You see, when you stop trying to have good direction, whether it's going this way or this way, it can be quite liberating for an Alexander person, because on some level, you know, I say, head forward and up, head forward and up. The most difficult thing for Alexander student is to give that direction after all these years of paying money and working hard to understand what the hell it means. Let the head go forward and up, and to let that direction do its work without even a homeopathic dose of trying to be right. And if you do that and suddenly you can breathe, or if you do that and suddenly you can breathe, it suggests that by doing that, or by doing that, you really have given up trying to be right. Whereas what you really want is to give up trying to be right totally, and then say head forward and up. And so you get a real freedom, like a going back even further into what makes us free. So I'm suggesting that where there is no freedom, there's thinking the right thing is to have right posture. Right posture exists. That's the eternity view. The opposite side, so the mindfulness practice, or the being a monk, being a mindful monk, is the most important thing. So in that case, what's posture got to do with it? You know, the important thing is to be a mindful monk. And so that, in a sense, is the annihilation view, because it's saying right posture is nothing. It's not important. So in the middle way, there's pratitya samutpada, springing up together, everything springing up together by going back. And that, I'm suggesting, is what Alexander's interested in. But yeah, I clarified this. This was clarified for me somewhat. Yesterday I spoke for a couple of hours on the phone to somebody who's interested in Zen and the Alexander technique. And I was pointing him in the direction of teachers who are not into body work, because his conception at the moment is that of a body worker. So he was telling me that, you know, it would be good if in Zazen dojos there was an Alexander technique teacher who could go in there and give people like hands-on guidance about what good posture is. And I would have had the same idea 25 years ago. But what I said to him is, what Zazen dojos need is a teacher who understands, who's got somewhat deep understanding of what the Buddha taught. And a teacher with that understanding will find a way to transmit it to the students at the Zazen dojo. But if you think that just, you know, a fairly newly qualified Alexander teacher is going to be able to go in there and effect a big difference, help people just by moving them about or using his hands, in a kind of body working kind of way, you haven't understood the problem. How we sit is a manifestation of our understanding. And the two forms of wrong understanding is, when it comes to sitting posture, that a right posture exists, or the opposite, negation of any effort to sit upright. So in the middle way, there is going up. There is going up in the right direction. Pratitya. But it goes back to understanding. It goes back to healthy food. It goes back to a wholesome lifestyle. So the problem I'm suggesting is not posture. The problem is understanding. So again, going back to chapter 26, we got avidyayam nirodayam samskaranama sambhava avidyaya nirodastu jnanasyaiva bhavanat. But to avidyaya, of ignorance, nirodas, stopping, avidyaya nirodhastu, but stopping of ignorance, jnanasyaiva bhavanat, is through the cultivation, bhavanat, jnanasya, of understanding, asya, of this. So, but the stopping of ignorance is thanks to cultivation of understanding of just this, or cultivation of just this understanding. So we want to sit in full lotus as the manifestation of the stopping of ignorance. Not that ignorance is found as a non-empty thing, but the point remains, we want to sit in full lotus, going up as manifested as a physical, going back, physicality and space. With our physicality, we're giving shape, we're defining space, we're digging a cave out of space, to use the poetic imagery of Master Dogen's master. That is the truth, to sit in full lotus and manifest true physicality. Not that physicality exists as a non-empty thing, but nevertheless, to physically be present, giving shape to space not by thinking this is right, and not by not caring at all and slumping, but by pratitya samutpada, by completely going up together with the trees and the grass and the horses in the field. Samutpada, going up together. Pratitya, by going back. Avidyaya nirodhastu jnanasyaiva bhavanat. But the stopping of ignorance, which is manifested by sitting upright, is thanks to cultivation, bhavanat, of understanding of this. So developing our understanding is what we should be aiming for. Not developing fantastic Alexander hands. I mean, that's great. If like my wife, for example, has got fantastic Alexander hands, and that's great. But it's not the primary thing. That was what Marjorie Barlow would emphasise. The use of the hands is so important, she would say, because it can speed up the learning process. But it's secondary. The primary thing is to develop our understanding. Every Alexander lesson, she would say, should deepen the pupil's understanding of what those words mean. To let the neck be free, to let the head go forward and up, to let the back lengthen and widen, sending the knees forwards and away. So second line, bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā ca, bhāvābhāvā-avaiti. Who then, what discriminating arbiter of thing and absence knows thing and absence? So thing and absence is bhava, existence, thing, existing thing, and its antonym abhava, non-existence, absence of a thing, absence. So bhāvābhāva, thing and absence. So that's obviously a very fundamental phrase, because it expresses the eternity view, bhava, things exist, abhava, things are absent. Existence of things, non-existent of things. So later in MMK, so I made a footnote of it here somewhere, in chapter 15, verse 7, Nagarjuna praises the Buddha as bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā, bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā. So vibhavin means strong person, and it also vibhava, because vi can mean emphatic. So vibhavin means really existent person, someone who really exists, or like a real person, vibhavin, a mighty person. And also vi can represent dvi, which means two. So it means separation, going apart. So vibhava suggests like discriminating between what exists, for example, exists and not exists. So when Nagarjuna calls the Buddha bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā, obviously he's praising the Buddha, no irony there. So I've translated it, mighty arbiter of thing and absence. So the Buddha knew the difference between the eternity view and the view of annihilation, and he taught dependent arising in the middle way. So vibhavin, it's a kind of pun, I think. It means he was mighty, and at the same time he could discriminate between the two things. So in this verse we have a similar expression, but this is ironic. And the expression is bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā. So that's nominative singular masculine. It goes with kaha, nominative singular masculine, who or what. So bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā, kaha is who or what, vidharmā of bhāvābhāva. So vidharmā is someone like vibhava. So the dictionary gives us vidharmā, first of all, acting wrongly or unlawfully. So that's v as the negative. That's another meaning of v. It can mean negative. So vidharmā means, vidharman as an adjective. Vidharman means acting wrongly. So dharma has to do with right action. V means not. So acting wrongly. But also, as a masculine noun, vidharman is given as a maintainer, an arranger, a disposer, because the root dri, from which dharma is derived, means to carry, to hold. So vidri, the root vidri, is given in the Sanskrit English dictionary as to hold, to bear, to carry, and in its causative form, vidarayati, to keep asunder or apart, to separate, to divide, to distribute. So that's how I've taken the sense of vidharmā, someone who can separate out existence and non-existence. So the Buddha understood he could, as a vibhavin, he was strong at seeing the difference between the eternity view and the view of annihilation. But at the same time, those two views don't exist as non-empty things. Even if we say that they're manifested as a stiff upright posture or manifested as a collapsed mindful posture, those postures are not non-empty things. They're not the presence of right posture, or they're not the presence of a misconception, and they're not the absence of a misconception. So in that sense, the Buddha was was a vibhavin or vidharmā. He was able to discriminate the two. But in this verse, in the context of there being no existent, where no existent thing is found, of what will there be an absence? In that case, what discriminating arbiter, vidharmā, of thing and absence, bhāvābhāva, knows avaiti, so third person singular of avaiti. So avaiti means like go to, or ava means down. So avaiti, go down to, but it means understand, hit the target of, know. Then bhāvābhāvāv is dual accusative of bhāvābhāva. So thing and absence as a duality. And in fact, in the recitation on bodhisattva.com, it has bhāvābhāvam. So in that case, the syllable is short. Here you've got 4 long syllables, bhāvābhāvav. Same as in the first line, you've got kasyābhāvo, 4 syllables. And here in the amended version, bhāvābhāvāv. So thing and absence, dual accusative, the object of avaiti, thing and absence. But in the version you heard on bodhisattva.com, recited by Professor Kasyābhāvo, bhāvābhāvam, long, short, and that's singular accusative. Doesn't make any difference to the meaning. So from the English, who, kaha, then, that's the tu cha of the first and second line. Who then? What discriminating arbiter? So that's ka again. I've translated the kaha twice. Discriminating arbiter, vidharmā, of thing and absence, bhāvābhāva, bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā. What is kaha? So bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā kaha. What discriminating arbiter of thing and absence knows avaiti, thing and absence, bhāvābhāvāv, bhāvābhāvāv, thing and absence as a duality. Bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā cha, bhāvābhāvā-avaiti kaha. Who then? What discriminating arbiter of thing and absence knows thing and absence? So this is an open question, so I shouldn't be too quick to decide or to conclude that it's an ironic rhetorical question inviting the answer that nobody knows. Nobody can discriminate thing and absence, because there is no such thing as an existent thing and no such thing as the absence of an existent thing. That's one way of understanding it, but of course the other way of understanding it would be that he has in mind that the person who could discriminate thing and absence as false conceptions was precisely the Buddha who will be praised in chapter 15 verse 7 as bhāvābhāvā-vidharmā, the mighty arbiter of thing and absence. Ya pratitya samutpadam prapanchopashamam shivam deshayamasa sambuddhas tam vande vadatam varam. He who taught dependent arising, stopping of spinning things into self-existence, happiness. Ya pratitya samutpadam prapanchopashamam shivam deshayamasa sambuddhas. He, the fully awakened Buddha, taught dependent arising, cessation of spin, happiness. Tam vande vadatam varam. Tam, him, vande, I salute, I praise, vadatam varam, the best, varam, of speakers, vadatam. Tam vande vadatam varam. I praise him, the best of speakers. Hoping in so doing, am I trying to be right? Of course, always.
avidyamāne bhāve kasyābhāvo bhaviṣyati bhāvābhāva-vidharmā bhāvābhāvamavaiti.